board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
President Byrne,
Here.
Trustees Cook,
Here.
Schwartz, Williams, Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Marport.
Okay, we have a quorum present. The meeting's called to order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight on anything other than what's that committee of the whole? Because you'll be recognized if you're here for committee of the whole. Okay. All right, first item is we want to recognize this year's participants and winners and first runner-ups and second runner-ups for the 2014 Vernon Hills Pageant. We have the categories of Little Miss Vernon Hills, Junior Miss Vernon Hills, and Miss Vernon Hills. Is everybody here tonight? Within reason?
Even above.
Okay. And if there's any parents that want to take pictures, you can come up here if you want, if you think you'd get a better angle. All right. First item is Little Miss Vernon Hills second runner-up, Ariel Gluck. Is she here?
Yeah, she's coming.
All right. Okay. Hello. All right. How old are you?
7.
Really? You know what? You look like you're 7. Okay. Next is Little Miss Vernon Hills first runner-up, Victoria Berta. How old are you?
8.
Hence, you're a little bit bigger. Okay. You don't have all your teeth, huh? All right. Well, they'll come in eventually, right? Okay. Little Miss Vernon Hills 2014, Annabella Fisher. What have I got here? Okay. Okay, I got it. Hey, Larry, these are for,
Last
oh,
Last
yeah.
year.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Next is Junior Miss Vernon Hills second runner-up, Jessica Lackey. Okay. And what grade are you in?
I'm going into freshman year.
Okay, all right. Well, that's nice. Junior Miss Vernon Hills first runner-up, Madeline Gutierrez. Madeline Gutierrez. Okay. All right. And are you in high school?
Yes, I'm going to be a freshman.
Okay. You two know each other?
Yes, we're going to the same high school,
Which high school?
Stevenson.
Okay, that's nice. All right. Okay. Junior Miss Vernon Hills 2014 is Cassidy Roush. You're already in high school, right?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore this year.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to all of you. Next is Miss Vernon Hills second runner-up, Courtney Krups. Where do you go to school?
Vernon Hills High School.
And where do you go? First runner-up, second runner-up.
Eh?
Junior Miss. Oh, now I'm getting, yeah. Where do you go to high school?
Vernon Hills.
Okay, so we're 2 Stevenson and 2 Vernon Hills, huh? All right. Okay. Miss Vernon Hills first runner-up, Elena Berta. Okay. You gonna stand by your sister, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, okay. Then Miss Vernon Hills 2014 Bree Amadei. Okay. You could take pictures of all of them and.
They are sweet.
And you're all gonna be at the 4th of July parade, right?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yep.
That'll be nice. Oh, and the fireworks and, of course, summer celebration events. You know, you got a lot of duties and responsibilities this summer, you know? Okay, girls, thank you. Now, go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Steve, you want to say something?
Oh. Okay, well, I guess I just wanted to thank the board for their always continuing support of this pageant. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think I can speak for all of us and more when I say it's a really cool and unique experience. So I just want to say thank you for making it possible for us.
That's good. And everybody was comfortable with the final results?
We were.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now we have to honor some outgoing. You can stay here if you want. Queens. Which order are we going in here? Who's Little Miss from this for 2013?
Haley.
Oh, Haley. Okay.
Haley.
Well, yeah, you know, I can't. All right, Haley Kalinowski. You want to step forward? All right, Haley. There you go, honey. I don't know what's in there, but your parents will. All right. Well, I know Emily. All right. Emily Chirillo. And Emily was junior Miss Vernon Hills. Okay, there you go. All right, and then we have Kelly O'Brien. Miss Vernon Hills. And Miss Lake County. Miss Vernon Hills and Miss Lake County.
Yes.
Okay, parents still here? Go ahead.
On behalf of myself, Haley, and Emily, we can't thank you guys enough for your support for this pageant. Like Bree was saying earlier, the girls in this pageant, win or lose, they gain so many new friends. You gain so many great communication skills, and as I go off to college in the fall, being a strategic communications major, I know that this pageant is just going to help me throughout my future. This year has been so rewarding. I've gained 2 new sisters that really are my role models. It's hard to see, you know, even though they're shorter, they still are my role models, and I can't thank all of you enough for giving us such an amazing, such a memorable year. So thank you guys so much.
All right. Okay, girls, you're off duty. And we'll see you on the 4th of July, and hopefully you got a nice day. All right. Okay. Everybody can leave that wants to leave. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, they.
Oh, yeah, that worked, yeah, I don't know. Okay, Village Manager Kalmer, summer celebration.
Thank you, Your Honor. Unfortunately, our next meeting will be 2 days before the start of the celebration. So I thought I'd give everybody a quick update. The summer celebration this year is July 17th through the 20th. The committee is working very hard at putting everything together and getting things under the final details under wrap. The musical groups this year will be Kings by Friday on Thursday, Modern Day Romeos and Mike and Joe on Friday, And then Saturday, the farm will open for Sister Hazel. And then Sunday will be Kaleidoscope Eyes. The grounds open at 6 p.m. on Thursday with fireworks at 9:30. Carnival rides, food and beverages are daily items. Children's entertainment will be Saturday and Sunday. Bingo will be, again, Thursday through Saturday. And then the second annual Bago tournament, also known as Cornhole or any other thing you want to call it, is going to be on Sunday at 2 p.m. It looks like we're going to have a very large tournament this year. They're very excited. Great prizes and great opportunities for folks. It was very well received for something that was kind of thrown together last year for the first time, and they've really done a great.
Who's operating that one? I mean, who's going to preside it? Is it at us or is there?
It's us. It's the committee.
Okay.
So, and then we're also implementing a car show this year, Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Classic cars and things. It's going to kind of develop on its own, I think. So that car show will be in the OPA parking lot. And then just a reminder, sponsors and volunteers are still needed. So if you're interested in working that evening, go to our website or go to the village's website, find the summer celebration page, and you can sign up for whatever you'd like to volunteer, which is, working behind the bar, selling tickets, or checking IDs. Cliff's got all that covered, I think. But so if you're interested, feel free to sign up. So looks forward to a great 4 days. Hopefully we'll get some weather just like this that'll carry through, and the like. Second item tonight, 2014 Holiday Light Show. As you know, over the past number of years, we've held this at the Cuneo Museum and Gardens location. Loyola, being the new owner of the property, or the relatively new owner of the property, has been gracious enough to allow us to continue on with that show. We've been working on a series of one-year agreements, the latest of which expired in January of 2014. What we'd like to do is send them another letter requesting a renewal of this agreement for one additional year, and then show them or present them with the draft of the agreement that we've used in previous years to allow the show to occur between Friday, November 28th and Saturday, January 3rd. We've talked to Loyola a couple times, have not gotten any commitment out of them. So what I'd like to do with your approval is to send them a formal letter requesting the show go on this year. Part of the need to do this now, obviously, is for our own planning purposes. We need to order lights and various equipment that go along with the show. We need to start thinking about manpower allocations out of two different departments. So we need to push this on as quickly as we can. So if you're okay with me sending that letter, I will.
Could you, in addition, follow up on where they're going with this? Where Loyola's, because I have serious concerns based on things I'm hearing from people that have performed there and people that have worked there on a regular basis, that they're down to maybe one or two people, and I don't even know if they're still doing tours of the mansion. I don't know if they're, maybe taking some of the stuff out of the mansion and using it elsewhere. I don't even know what they're doing there now, and neither do these people that I've known for a number of years that have performed there for a number of years, and the word is that Loyola is just cutting back incredibly, and I thought part of the deal when they took it over was that the mansion was going to continue as is and be a focal point, and I'd like to make sure they're committed to that.
We can definitely ask that question. My understanding through a series of meetings that we had was that the goal of Loyola was to reach at some point where the operations were break even. And at this point, it is not breaking even, so therefore they have cut back both staffing. For instance, the general manager, Kevin Ginty, who was there in the past, is no longer there. He is out at one of their facilities out in McHenry County. So they have cut back on staff and operations and limited hours and those types of things. The banquet facility is still operating, but it's not as wide-ranging amount of services as was previously permitted. They've eliminated being able to get married out on the site. You can still have your wedding reception, for instance, but there's no marriages being performed at the location. They're still operating, they're still having banquets and the like.
Well, the concern I want to avoid is that there's two ways to make your budget balance, and one of them is if you close shop, your budget is balanced.
Well,
You're no longer,
right.
you're at zero out, zero in. That's that's not what I'd like to see them do to make sure it's sustaining itself. And that's my concern, is that's where they appear to be headed. And
I think they're
wanna make
there.
sure
I think they are there, because they're at minimal manpower right now. They're keeping the grass mowed for the most part, and again, they're working the banquet facilities, but they've pared down the manpower, which is where their cost savings can be realized. So I think they're there in many instances.
Because that's a museum that's been, I think it was the A&E Mansions of the United States. It was
It's cast.
one on there, and
Right.
Castles of the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
And that, I believe they covered there. That's one of our focal points, that in the whole land agreement, going back as far as the whole land agreement of '88, and that the mansion was to be kept as a pretty nice piece of
Sure.
history and an attraction for people, and it sounds like it's rapidly not becoming that.
Well, and again, as you know, the question becomes who and how much is invested into the museum itself, or the museum and the mansion itself, and they have structural issues with that building right now that has predicated the request to possibly develop that site, and is the basis for some of those discussions. They have not presented definitively that the revenue to be realized by the sale of that property is going to go back into the mansion. And that's where the discussions that we've had on an interim basis stand at this point. And they, at least on an interim basis, have not been willing to invest any substantial, or the needed substantial sums to make that property weather tight, and partly because they can't justify it at the university
The
level.
reason nothing's happened there with the sale of the land is that we want them to do the infrastructure they have to do in the mansion. So it's all like,
Right.
at an impasse. So,
And I just
and I mean,
like
it's not like we're gonna loan them the money.
Right,
You know?
right.
Are they having the outdoor concerts this year? Or?
I have not seen anything advertised,
Right.
so.
I don't know, you might wanna check a website. I went to one last year, but,
Right. I mean, the difference in that instance is that they have typically charged for those,
Right.
carload,
Sure.
and then sold some things and the like. So, and with the downsizing in their budget for this location, I haven't seen any kind of concert acknowledgement at all.
There's some kind of sign, I mean, it's very small, a lot of small print, and I don't see that well anymore. But I'm not quite sure what it says on
what is that,
on the
60
north.
in Milwaukee?
Yeah, on the northeast corner.
Yeah, I don't know, you gotta be caught at the light.
Yeah,
to be able to see
and I
that.
haven't.
And
Right.
close to it, yeah.
So we can make some inquiries and express concerns, obviously.
You know what,
And we'll
if you
see what we
want,
get back.
for, the board, I think some of these, information's been shared, because we've met I don't know how many times we've met.
Right.
And, Jan can, if you want to do a little chronological bullet point thing of what we've been doing, but
Sure.
that's it in a nutshell. We don't want them to go forward with anything if they're not going to take care of the building,
Right. Yeah.
And there's still probably, what do you think, 3 mil?
Oh, at least. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, maybe more.
Well, and again, the longer they wait, the more expensive it gets. And
Yeah.
with
I mean,
all this rain that we've had here recently,
You got
I
a
mean,
roof that's leaking,
yeah.
all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So, probably don't want somebody to go in there with, one of the moisture meters. Probably be kind of scary.
Well, they also don't have real good air conditioning there either, so.
Yeah, right, yeah. Units with fans,
Yeah. So if you're okay with me writing the letter for the light show, I'll go ahead and get that out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. And then the final item under my section, residents have been receiving mailings from a couple of companies with regards to water service line coverage. And basically,
Yeah,
what
I
these
saw that.
companies are providing is some type of, quote, insurance for your water service line that goes from the valve that's usually in your driveway or front yard to the house. And if it breaks, they'll come out and repair it. There's some limitations on the repairs. It's a monthly fee that you would pay. It's somewhere similar to when you had your phone line where you could pay the linebacker charge, which said if your line ever went down, it would be repaired for free.
It's like $65 for the year.
Right. It's about $5 a month, something, $5.5
It's
bucks.
gonna go out in people's bills?
It's already out. And no,
I
it's
mean-
not. It's not affiliated with Lake County Public
Right.
Works or the village. It is a private mailing that has been sent out. And we, early on, when American Water Resources of Illinois put something out, we put something immediately on the website. We contacted Lake County Public Works and basically said, "What's this all about?" And then we put something on our website that basically says, "We have no affiliation with this whatsoever, nor does Lake County Public Works. This is a private service soliciting your business." And all we're saying here, again, because we have a new one out, Home Serve has just sent out a mailer. They're based out of Connecticut, but they have an office in Northbrook. They're doing the same thing. And we just want residents to understand, no public entity is soliciting this on their behalf. We're not advocating it, and we're suggesting that people be very careful in what they do with these
And
types
nobody
of
knows
services.
for sure what their reputation is and solvency
I-
and how long they've been in business.
Have nothing. You can do a little research online,
Yeah, I don't- yeah.
but it's all
It's
based
the
on
U.S.
this.
mail equivalent of a robocall, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is
Yeah,
just
what do you
provided.
figure- What does it cost? $3 or $4 grand to do that work if your feet into the house breaks on your front lawn?
Yeah, that's what they project. I mean, again, and Dave, I don't know if you can help.
Couple grand?
Maybe the best way to phrase it is Lake County Public Works owns the main all the way to the B box, including the B box, which is the valve. And this gives you protection from that point towards the house. I've talked to Mike, I've talked to our plumbing inspector. Very, very rare that this ever happens. So, buyer beware as far as how you spend your money.
Yeah,
Right.
all right.
And again, if people have questions, they can call us or they can call Lake County Public Works. I mean, again, Lake County Public Works is the provider of the utility service. So if they have questions, call Lake County Public Works directly and they can answer any questions regarding your service.
Did they say they're an insurance company?
No, that's my,
Because then there would be the AM Best rate,
right.
And
They are not defining
you still
themselves.
got any of the, I don't know what, if we just recycled it at home, but
Mm-hmm.
do we have any of the copies up here?
Yeah, I've got,
Just email me something.
yeah, I've got both.
Maybe I'll try to check it out.
Yep.
What the hell.
So we'll send you a scanned copy.
Okay,
Okay, that's all I got.
all right.
Thank you.
Yep. Assistant Village Manager Carey.
Thank you, Your Honor. The 4th of July Parade is this week on Friday. Currently, the parade will feature 6 musical acts, Shriners, horses, and miscellaneous cartoon characters. We expect a turnout of approximately 89 units, which is what we traditionally have had. The event kicks off at 8:50 a.m. with the singing of the national anthem, and the parade will begin at 9 a.m. Deerpath, Sullivan, and Aspen will be closed during the parade. And as a reminder, if residents wish to leave the area, they're encouraged to do so prior to the 8:30 closure. The streets will reopen once the final group has cleared the roadway.
Yeah, it's gonna be a couple hours, right?
Yeah, correct. Special thanks to the Park District for once again sponsoring the evening's entertainment. The Big Fun Band will once again perform at 6:30 p.m. Following the band, the fireworks will begin at approximately 9:30 p.m. Once again, we're looking forward to another great year with good weather and a great turnout along the route.
Okay.
The second item was the Arbortheater concert series. Those kicked off this past Thursday on June 26th with the band Spoken For. Approximately 125 people turned out for the event, which is about average from previous years. Again, this year the concerts are on Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The next concert is on July 10th with Johnny Rustler and the Beach Bum Band. Following that, July 24th, the Hillbilly Rockstars, July 31st, Rhythm Rockets, and July 7th, Generation. August 7th.
Yeah, okay, and of course, this is on our website.
Correct. All this information is available on
Yeah, and
the
I got that info, because I had Lynn make a copy. Okay. Finance Director, Treasurer, Larry Nakrin.
Hey, I'd like,
You're the MC, huh?
yeah, I'm the MC. I'd like to introduce our new Assistant Finance Director, Nikki Larson. She brings to the village a wealth of experience and skills. She was the accounting manager at Palatine, was the Assistant Finance Director and the Finance Director at Highland Park. While at Palatine, she brought a new banking contract that increased the use of technology and security features, including positive pay and debit blocking. She was also in charge of the implementation of a $2 million enterprise resource system purchase and implementation for Palatine. At Highland Park, she financed a $30 million water treatment plant upgrade using a combination of financial instruments, including recovery zone bonds. Along with this project, she worked on water conservation fee structure. She was able to mitigate the cost of this project for ratepayers by refinancing debt, resulting in $650,000 of annual savings. Also for their police pension fund, she coordinated the selection of a new financial advisor, saving that fund $70,000 annually. She has worked on diverse issues, including purchasing cards, electronic payments, IT consolidation, shared services, and dispatch consolidation. In her career, she's been involved in assisting or overseeing the receipt of 5 awards for excellence in financial reporting, and over the last 5 years, and 3 budget awards. And she's been a CPA since 2007 and on the Chicago Metro Board of the Illinois Government Finance Officers Association. So I'm very pleased.
Are you on that one?
I'm at a much lower level of activity than Nikki is. And
Yeah, okay.
but we're very pleased to have her as a part of the finance department.
And plus, your family is like all finance directors and stuff. It's kind of scary. What is it, uncles and aunts and what is it? You can talk if you want.
I've got an uncle that is the CFO of Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, and an aunt at the Village of Skokie, and relatives in the fire and police service as well.
Yeah, okay, but two others in
two other in
kind of the
finance.
same capacity as you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember her uncle when he was at Rolling Meadows and many, many years ago. And
Yeah, all right. And you told her now that she's on the payroll, she's got to move into town like Chief Fleshauer. You know, that was in the fine print. Well, I didn't hit Jan, you know. Anyway, he's got something worked out with Allison if he sells his house. Okay. All right. Well, welcome Nikki to Vernon Hills. So, all right. Des Plaines River Watershed Wrokgroup, Dave Brown.
Thank you very much. In your board packet is a proposed letter for the board's consideration. This work group was created out of EPA regulations. The regulations for treatment plants are becoming more and more tight when it comes to TMDL. Anyway, so what's being put into the water, they're regulating tighter and tighter. Ultimately, if the EPA passes regulations that mirror Wisconsin, Lake County Public Works could spend up to $52 million to make upgrades to their 3 different treatment plants. So this work group was formed to try to self-police our watershed. The proposal is to form this voluntary dues-paying organization, and it would be represented from treatment plant owners and also MS4s, similar to the village. Our village owns a storm sewer system, so we have EPA permits. The issue really is that the treatment plants aren't necessarily what's causing the impact to the watershed. It's really the non-point discharge, the runoffs from land and parking lots, et cetera. The EPA cannot make their regulations tight enough to come after municipalities, et cetera. Ultimately, they're going to make it more stringent on the treatment plants. Our residents would have to pay that through their increased water bills. So hence the need for this work group. The proposal would be based on acreage, tributary area. You would end up paying based on your acreage. The majority of the cost is being borne by the treatment plant owners, really a 2/3, 1/3 share. So in your board packet is a letter. Right now, the letter does not commit that we would pay the proposed $4,120. Currently for sampling as part of our MS4 permit, we have to pay, well, we have a budget line item of $1,500. I need clarity from the EPA whether or not some of the rules that they've passed to the MS4s, instead of annual sampling that we currently do, they are now proposing that we have to do it quarterly. So that's going to increase our budget. At a certain point, it does make sense that if we can have one group perform all the sampling and we're sharing information across jurisdictional boundaries, we'll know what to do and where the problem areas are with our watershed. So instead of having regulators say they need to meet certain thresholds for different constituent materials, we think it's more appropriate that we do the sampling in our own watershed. We determine where the problem areas are and how to fix them as part of this work group. So my recommendation is that we do support this group and send the letter to them. In the meantime, I'll spend some time trying to better understand what the EPA is going to allow MS4s to do. The proposal that I have to the IEPA is that if we join this group, we're not required to do the sampling on our streams because it's covered by this work group. So I'll keep you informed on that, and I open it up to the board whether or not you would like to send this letter.
Anybody want to comment on it? Or
Well, basically, you're looking for a $2,700 budget adjustment to be the difference between the $1,500 that you're spending right now on annual testing and the $4,200 to join this organization that'll take over, at minimum, the annual testing. So I guess I don't have a problem with 27 isn't a real large number, but I'd like you definitely to pursue, and before we enter into any agreement, to find out more about whether we need to do the quarterly or semi-annual or whatever, so that this really then makes it a benefit, a bargain for the village. So
Very good.
I don't have a problem with this first level letter, but before we enter into any agreement to start spending for dues, then I'd like to see that additional due diligence research that I know you're going to do.
Okay,
But
sounds good. And this will come before the village board in terms of budget discussion. So they're not asking for us to pay dues right now. It's not till June 1 that any dues would be required.
what was it we got? It had to be from, it was Click Jawa, something in the mail, and it listed everything that's in your tap water.
the clean water report that the county has to put out
Yeah.
annually.
You know, I mean, in essence, you buy a bottle of water. You're not going to tell me that some of that information that came in this newsletter, some of those, I guess chemicals and such, aren't in water you buy at Walgreens. I mean, do they purify it that much better than the sewage? I mean, our actual treatment plant?
The best way I can explain that is a former employer of mine, when I worked with their public works director, he used to work for DuPage County Health Department, and he ended up sending a sampling report based on bottled water that he purchased, sent it down to them, and they listed where all the problem areas are. They didn't meet the water quality standards.
They did?
It did not. And so he was really pushing, he's really pushing back as far as whether or not those standards are appropriate, and water that you drink out of the tap, he felt was very appropriate.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing is, because the only one I've ever seen have anything on it is it Fiji water? They put silica. There's some silica in it, you know? That's from filtering down, right? The special spring area where they get the water. Yeah, okay. They should have but bottled water ought to be labeled better when you think about it.
Just says water.
Yeah. And what's leaching into that from the plant? What's that plastic? You can buy water bottles now that are free of PHP or BHP.
BHP.
What is it?
Yeah.
PBA?
Biphenyl
BPA.
something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, so we all got to be careful out there, huh? Be boiling your water at home. Would that get rid of all the, the trace elements? Probably not, right?
No.
Because then
They're still in the water.
Cool off before you drink it, right?
But you have to distill it. So if you're going through the problem of distilling, you might as well
So
drink
that's
Jack.
why people home brew so much now. They make their own, and it's pretty clean.
Yeah, a gentleman named Popcorn could probably help us.
Popcorn,
with that.
yeah, I remember, yes, yeah. I think the poor guy's deceased now, though.
I think he has passed, but his recipe lives on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I think he went legal, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Anyway, all right. Thanks. All right. Next is building commissioner Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to give the board a quick update as to where we are with the police remodeling project. The design bid package phase is moving along very rapidly right now. We anticipate that by the third week of July, the construction drawings and bid documents will be ready for staff level review. We've requested that a construction manager at risk model be included in this bid package. Assuming the review process goes well, we would schedule the bid opening for July 25th, and then the closing would be August 8th. At that point, we would then go through a process of qualifying and analyzing each bid, and the goal would be to have something on the first meeting in September for the board to review. And when I say something that staff could recommend to the board. Once the contracts are awarded, we would then finalize the schedule, begin temporary relocation of the police personnel, and really the ultimate goal here, and we're on schedule so far, is to be able to begin construction by the end of September. And what's critical here is being able to do certain elements of construction, primarily the exterior features, the roof. There's some foundation work, exterior facade work. If we can get that done before the winter season sets in, then we can continue through the winter season on the interior portion of the structure. So we're moving fast. We are on schedule, and again, if all goes well, we'll have something in front of you in early September to review.
Okay. Any comments or questions on that one? And the bid package is almost ready?
I'm sorry, the bid package is all in writing?
Oh, almost ready.
Yeah, it'll be, it's, by July 25th, we should have 80% completion documents. So at staff level, we can begin our review of those documents. And then they'll be completing the last 20% as we're doing our review. If that goes well, then by the end of July, somewhere around July 25th, we can then open the bidding process.
Okay. All right, what do we got next? Omnibus vote agenda, right? Is there a motion to approve items A through O?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions, or anybody want anything pulled? If not, roll call, please.
Trustees Williams, Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries. Unfinished business, approval of Kemper voucher list of bills dated July 1st, 2014 in the amount of $12,908.16. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Abstain.
Williams.
And I vote aye for the record. Motion carries. Okay. Any new business? Well, we got something else. Approval and passage of resolution 2014-122, a resolution granting approval to operate an outdoor special event for Steinhoffels, 569 North Milwaukee Avenue. Is there a motion to approve?
So made, but I'd like to hear from the petitioners.
Okay. No time like the present.
Steinhoff.
Steinhoff.
Yes, Steinhoff.
You're all here for Steinhoffels? Oh, okay. Yeah.
You may want the hand mic.
Oh, sorry.
It's easier.
Hi, I'm Dan States. I'm store manager at Steinhoffels.
Yeah, okay.
And we're looking to get approval for our tent event. We didn't have one last year, but we did one a couple years prior.
Yeah.
And it's a single tent.
Okay. What, trustee Hebda? Oop.
This is a sidebar, but Dick's has 20 signs on the parking lot going around, nothing on 60, or I want to know what your signage is going to be for this tent sale, because I don't want to see 20
There isn't
signs.
any specific
There's
signage
nothing,
for it.
just your flyers and.
It's just the idea of having a tent that people
Sure.
could see when they go
Just
by.
like you
and-
did, yeah, last year. Okay, great.
So,
Second.
what, Mike, do you have one?
No, my comment with the tent, that's all it is, and Jim brought it forth and I seconded it, so.
Okay.
Should be good.
All right. If there's no further comments or questions, roll call.
I'm going to talk about that in new business.
Trustees Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Aye.
Williams, Hebda.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have,
Do we have to go to closed session?
Are you,
wait,
just had one quick question. Are you going to have people out there helping?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're putting in that temporary stop sign. My only concern is the pedestrians going
Right.
across there, but, yeah,
in the, yeah.
okay. Because the way you've got it set up with the barricades and everything is very nice. It should take care of it. Yes.
Right, good.
Okay. All right. Is there, trustee Hebda?
So back to Dick's.
It duly noted, trustee Hebda.
They
we will
have a banner on the front of the store, and they have 20. And I'm thinking, why do you need the signs in the parking lot? If anything, put it on 60 and on Milwaukee to get people to come in there, but that's crazy.
Yeah, the
I mean,
signs in the parking lot aren't permitted, so we'll follow up with
Good.
them tomorrow. We'll have them all removed. The banner is permitted. They've
The
got
banner,
permission for
I
that,
understand
yeah.
the banner.
But the sign shouldn't be there,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is till the middle of July.
And we'll address the time frame next year.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Okay. Is there any other new business to come before the board? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? No. Is adjourn the board meeting, go into committee of the whole, and we will not be going into closed session. Okay. Is there a second? Or is there a
Second.
first?
I didn't hear the first.
So moved.
Who's the first?
I'll be up first. I don't
All right, okay, roll call.
Trustees Markwart.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Williams. Hebda.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, like to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. First item is approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of June 17th, 2014.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions, corrections, deletions? If none, roll call.
Trustees Cook.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Williams. Hebda.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Markwart.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, request from Glacier Ice Arena to operate an outdoor special event at 670 Lakeview Parkway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This 5K event is to benefit a not-for-profit organization. Proceeds would benefit the Ice Dog Hockey Charities with money that would be split between the autism and hockey scholarships. There's 500 participants that are anticipated, and this event would take place on Monday, September 1st, and it would be from 7 a.m. to 12 noon. The run would be staged from the Glacier parking lot. The race route would include Deerpath Park, a small portion of the VHAC, and the west side of Fairway Drive. The race would then end back at Glacier Park. You'll note in looking at the route that no major streets would be crossed. During the event, there would also be a DJ that would provide musical entertainment. There would be 2 tents, each would be 20 by 20, that would be used for stretching and yoga and registration. There may be limited food that would be provided, and Glacier is aware that if they were to do this, a permit would be required from the Lake County Health Department. Finally, there would be a 4-foot by 10-foot banner, a single banner, that would be placed in the front yard facing Lakeview Parkway. This special event, along with the site plan showing the race route, is attached to your packet. And if the board feels that the special event is appropriate, staff should be directed to prepare a resolution approving the event, subject to the conditions outlined in your packet, and a representative of Glacier Ice Arena is here to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, this route is the route that Will came up with?
Yes, it is.
And it was shared with the petitioners?
Yes, it was.
I'm looking.
Okay. And who are you, please?
My name is Kaylin Liberatore. I'm actually the event coordinator for Glacier in Ice Dogs hockey.
So you saw the route?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're okay with it?
I actually ran it too. It's very nice.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Is it a 5K?
It's a 5K.
You can't enter because you could win.
I don't think that, but.
You don't know. Make it a little longer, like 26 miles. He likes that better.
More like.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Chief, any concerns with this route?
No concerns. Will did a good job of routing it so that it doesn't cross any of the major roadways.
Okay.
That's Labor Day. That's Monday of Labor, right? So traffic should be at that time of the
At
day.
minimum.
Minimum, so.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Everyone should be off course by 9 a.m. Since
Yeah,
it's only a 5K, you can easily walk it, be off the course within an hour.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Trustee Schultz?
Yeah, it's not directly directed at you. It's kind of more directed at staff. Now, we went through a little iteration of transferring the proceeds from the Vernon Hills Cougar Youth Athletic to the Leahy Foundation, and we found out the Leahy Foundation had their 501c3, and they also had an updated or current state of Illinois articles of incorporation for that, and it was current. But we then found out that the Cougar Youth did not have a current state of, so they're operating really in violation of Illinois law. So I'm wondering, how do we assure that whenever we're dealing with the 501c3s, that all their paperwork is proper? Because it's a nominal amount of paperwork you get back from the state of Illinois. Basically, you get a receipt when you file your state taxes with them. But I want to make sure that all these charities that we're dealing with, and I'm assuming you guys, your paperwork's up to snuff.
Yes.
Last April, you filed
Yes, sir.
your taxes with the state also, and you got your research, you paid them the $14 or whatever the
Yes.
fee is, and you got, whereas the Cougars didn't, and so we need to be on top of these things, and how do we ensure that all the charitable organizations we work with are in fact up to snuff?
That information is online, Secretary of State's office, so we can check those as people come in with events. We'll get their corporate entity name. We'll make sure that they're current with their corporate licensure, and also we can verify the 501c3 status as well.
Okay, so I guess that goes on the checklist that you've got here. Good enough. That's what I needed to hear.
Okay. Do we do a roll call yet?
No, no.
Nope.
We got a first and a second?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz.
Aye.
Williams. Hebda.
Aye.
Schwartz. Schultz.
Aye.
Markfort.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Motion carries. What was that, shorts?
No.
Even after separating us, you
I
still get it.
Darn it.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. You know, okay. All right, motion carries. Oh, okay, Deerpath Park study.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Deerpath parking study.
Study.
Parking. study.
Yeah, this goes back a couple of the elections.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
As you know, you've all received at certain times of the year comments with regards to from residents specifically who live on Deerpath south of Sullivan regarding the lack of on-street parking or the ability to park on street in this area. I mean, it is a unique area, and what we did was we actually looked at some areas throughout town, and it is the unique area that deals with this type of situation. Most streets in town are designed to allow parking at least on one side of the street where residents have direct access to that street. Again, these are public streets I'm talking about. In this instance, we have a narrow street with driveways fronting on the street itself, and it's the only street like this in town. So what you all ask us to do is to take a look at this section of Deerpath and talk about some possible alternatives to providing additional parking at that location. Another question that was raised as a part of this discussion was also the possibility of either continuing to allow or prohibiting parking of vehicles on the driveway aprons. That is currently allowed by the village code. It provides, in this section of the town, it provides about 48 parking spaces in that configuration for that general, or for this general area. So that's another question that has been raised, and we're prepared to address some of that as a part of this discussion. So I guess with this, I will turn it over to Dave, and he can walk you through his study, and there's a couple of charts he'll throw up on the screen here, and he'll walk you through it. So,
With Mr. Stortle's assistance. So we have various options that staff came up with as far as trying to address how one would park their extra vehicles. You could park them on the apron. You could make sure their garages are cleaned out. We could have them widen their driveways, work through our codes to vary it to allow for wider driveways. We also could have them park on the street, and we could have them park on side streets. Another option is we can spend roughly $5,000 to $6,000 per parking space and have recessed areas within the parkway to allow for cars to park there. So those are some of the different options that we've come up with. And I can go into the individual, it's in the memo, but I can go through each individual one if you would like, or we can open it up for discussion with the board, whatever your pleasure is.
I mean, maybe just to go just a touch further on this, there is no simple solution to this problem.
Right.
And one of the things that we need to realize is that, as Dave said, there are a couple of solutions where, for instance, working with residents to encourage them to clean out one or both of the stalls in their garages is something that's difficult, but it is something that we can work with on an education program or the like to help encourage that. Because you lose one or two spaces in those garages and suddenly the only parking that's available is on the pad. And then you throw in the apron and that's it. So you have that part of it. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you add parking spaces along this area, and that's outside of the current road surface, you incur additional maintenance costs associated with that because you've got to plow those spaces. And those spaces get plowed after we do the main routes. And I won't go into the snowplow arena much more than that, but you have to clean those out. More importantly, though, is that if you add these spaces along there, you will change the visual character of that section of Deerpath. You'll lose significant trees, you'll add more pavement, and you will change the visual characteristics of that area to what I think the staff would suggest is to the detriment of that area.
I couldn't agree with you more. I guess I'll start because I'm kind of the one who brought this to the forefront. And just from a historical perspective, I was out campaigning last election cycle and talking to folks that lived along Deerpath, and that was one of their biggest issues, was that they received a ticket when their big car was parked across the sidewalk, and they had a bunch of stuff or whatever, and said, boy, we could use more parking. So I took a look at the aerials, and the only thing that I thought, because we have allowed it in one particular case, although they're kind of abusing it now because they've got a car parked under a canvas cover on that driveway, which was not the intent, but to allow for the widening of certain driveways, giving them up to 24 feet of width so they could get 3 cars across in those particular areas where they only had the ability to park 2 cars. So the shorter driveways, those that are 30 feet or less in depth behind the sidewalk. So that was something that I thought was a reasonable accommodation for X number of houses. There's roughly 40 houses in that area, maybe a little bit more, but only maybe 15 of them would benefit from that. There's a good number of them that have a significant amount of parking because they're the Cape Cods that have long driveways and rear garages. The one point that was brought up in this study and the memo that y'all produced was the fact that maybe we could be a little more helpful, i.e. either via the zoning or by no permit fees or whatever setback requirements for some kind of sheds in the backyards to help folks alleviate some of their stuff that might be prohibiting them from utilizing all their garage space that's available to them. But I don't have a whole lot of sympathy. I didn't have sympathy when it came to the toters and placing them inside garages in the original NCT areas. There was a certain amount of pushback, but again, a garage is, in my mind, for a car. I keep 2 cars in my 2-car garage, and I still have a lot of stuff, including my toters and a workbench and 5 sets of golf clubs and yard tools and all kinds of other stuff in that garage. So, and it's not an extraordinarily large garage. So therefore, the only thing I'm really interested in with regard to Deerpath is providing some way to provide some relief, if at all possible, to make wider driveways. I'm not interested in rebuilding Deerpath. Your cost estimate to build these was, we'll say, $100,000. I can't see you doing it for almost twice that much, because the sewers are where the sewers are, and you're going to have to back slope it. You're going to have basically French drains. It's going to be just a nightmare to do that. It would look like Milwaukee Avenue, potentially, in Libertyville, where they have the duck-ins and you have the little green space areas. Might not be all that bad, but it's not something that I'm interested in doing out of the village coffers for a limited number of homes that are affected, because it still wouldn't provide probably the relief that a particular person is looking for. With regard to overnight parking, potentially on side streets with permits, I don't know. That wasn't addressed per se in this, but potentially if you've got a fifth car and you want to park it on DeBill or Linden, maybe we could allow that, providing a permit system. I don't know how big a nuisance that would be for us to manage that, but that's as far as I'd want to go. Like I said, my intention was to provide a little bit of relief within the zoning with regard to setbacks and/or the total width of driveways, so that we could get a potential third spot. The other issue that you touched on, John, and really came out of the initial discussions, was that of parking across the apron. And I'm 1,000% against that. And I can't believe that we allowed that within the original code. And I would like to see that rectified immediately. I don't believe that's an appropriate use of that space. I am firmly in belief that that is not a positive aesthetic that we want for the community, and especially if there's space available in their garage and we can't afford any other type. And it's not just Deerpath that's happening. It's happening in Hawthorne Club with great regularity. It's happening in Westmoreland with great regularity. It's happening throughout Deerpath with great regularity. I can't speak to Greg's Landing because I only stay on Greg's Parkway. I don't go into their neighborhoods because I don't have any reason to, but I digress. The issue, though, is such that I think that needs to be remedied immediately.
The apron parking?
Yeah, the apron parking. There is not a need for it in these communities. We are providing 4 parking spaces within the design framework of all the buildings that we're talking about here. 2-car garages with 2 parking spaces minimum, and some even have 3, or 6, I should say.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the south end of Deerpath is inherently designed wrong. The houses should have backed up, and you eliminated some houses, to take them off the collector like that.
So I look at it as 2 separate issues. I'd like to provide some kind of relief for those folks on South Deerpath, but with regard to the rest of the town, I think we need to tighten up our parking ordinances and eliminate that apron parking. That's it.
Does that include the folks on South Deerpath?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd want to see exactly if, in fact, they can prove that they have 5 cars registered to that address, or they need that because of a long-term transient relative, whatever, living there, and they are utilizing all 4 spaces that are built into the design framework, and they need that for a temporary period. Okay, I'd rather see the side street parking on DeBill and Linden via permit for that 5th car as
Well,
opposed.
the best parking job I ever saw in my life in town was the one house, it's a raised ranch, and it's on Deerpath as you cross Monterey.
Yes.
And they somehow, these guys must be pros, they put three cars in this 2-car garage. And I saw it, I should have taken a picture. You know, I was like riding my bike. I go, how the hell did these guys do that? You know, and they weren't maybe the size of the cars. You know, must have been conducive to it. But there was one that was, kind of not straight in. It was, sideways. I said, Chief, we should have got Stordo out there, do some video of this. And then they had 2 more cars on the drive, and then one on the apron. So he had about 6. That must be a hell of an enjoyable carjacky routine on like a Monday morning. Oh, God. All right. Well, I don't, bump outs, huh? Like on Gulf Road and downtown.
Downtown Libertyville is a very good descriptor. And John's exactly right. My concern, especially after enduring a very long winter, is how we would plow those spots.
Be a problem.
Is it first come, first serve?
Dibs. It would be dibs.
It would be dibs. I know in the city of Chicago.
Right? It'd be dibs.
So would the appearance of Deerpath be chairs, folding chairs that are put out?
Well,
Ironing boards.
Shovel it, get it.
Well, cones. Probably cones.
Folding chairs and ironing boards.
Lawn. Like lawn furniture, patio kind of stuff. I don't think you'll get that wicker, but you'll get, dibs. Man. All right, so what do we want to do with this? Trustee Cook.
I don't have as big a concern about the apron as long as they stay on the apron. The problem I've had is that some of them that park out there wind up with the front wheels off the apron into the parkway, or sometimes the rear wheels. Perhaps it could be that could be the permit that they get, is a permit to make sure they're.
Well, that you don't need a permit to do that. That we can take care of through regular enforcement.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is the apron itself, maybe in addressing Trustee Schultz's concerns, apron parking could be permit only, to make sure that, again, they aren't using the garage as 100% storage, because that is the nature of the problem, I guess, in many instances. So I'm really not as opposed to that, as long as we, keep track of the stuff on the apron and that, because
We make it a temporary.
yeah. And the other
Renewal every
thing I want to
3
make,
months.
Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, the sidewalk parking is not our rule. That's a state law, is it not?
I'm not 100% sure on that. We have an ordinance that specifically addresses that, but it allows them to park blocking the sidewalk between certain hours of the evening, like 10 a.m. and 6 a.m., I think are the time frames.
Okay.
That it's okay to park blocking the sidewalk, just not during the daytime when pedestrians,
Saying
little
10 at
children. are
night
normally
till
present.
6 in the morning?
Yeah, I believe 10 at night or 11 at night till 6 in the morning.
Wow.
Okay. Just wanted to check that.
One of the options going
Well,
along.
technically, if you did that, you'd park 2 cars.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could, right.
Right.
But they'd have to be out by 6 in the morning, and a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, or they get ticketed.
Right.
Well,
Theoretically.
write a ticket, they get somebody's attention, right?
Well, we've gotten a lot of attention lately.
Yeah, all right.
One of the things I've done as a part of my other role as the judge in the adjudication process in working in these situations has been to work with residents to clean out their garage as a part of letting them off the ticket. And I have one gentleman in particular in one of the older sections of town whose 2 children had moved back home, adult children. They had brought their furniture with them. And along with that, he was a furniture salesman himself. So they had a whole garage full of furniture and 4 cars, of which we got several of them, both of them, a couple of times for parking over the sidewalk. And what I told them was, I'll give you 30 days to clean out your garage, or at least clear a space to allow for one car to go in, so you could put one in the garage, two on the pad, one on the apron, and they would be in compliance then. And maybe there's a way that we can work as a part of the compliance process to again address some of the issues with garages being full and the like. You know, they come in, they appear before the judge, and that's how we work it. So
Where it's like at my house, you know, I park on the driveway, not behind my wife, and my car oxidizes.
Again, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy because I had both kids come back from various stays, other place, one at the same time, and it cost me $150 a month for the better part of 3.5 years.
Storage?
Yeah.
Yep.
And right now, my daughter was between selling her house and getting into a new place tomorrow. Anybody wants to help me move tomorrow, they're more than welcome. Help her move.
You got to be of a certain age to do that.
Yeah, I'm not, but
No.
I am.
Yeah.
It's $127 a month, I think she's paying right now.
Right.
Her car is on my driveway.
Maybe I
but
got
her
a
furniture-
solution. I could take all of Patrick's stuff and put it in a storage.
Yes, sir.
I've got a place, good.
You got a storage place now?
No, I used to. Just to throw my 2 cents worth in, yeah, I don't believe in parking on, putting the aprons in. It's going to be a heck of a lot of work. John did have something that was sort of interesting, if in fact, and I made the comment about the park isn't that far away to put a parking lot, a small parking lot, or you condemn one of the houses that's been sitting vacant for 2 years or whatever, converted into a parking area. That's one way, but Jim did bring up, I think, something to the fact that they were allowed to put a break for a shed or something to the back. I think that's a way to do it. I have to admit, I'm probably realistically one of the worst violators. And reason being is that I did have a building and everything's in my garage now. I plow, I've got plows, and when you have a truck that's 20 feet long, it does make it difficult. But enough of my problems. Going back to this, you have driveways that are short, and then with a sidewalk in it. There are some of the houses that have a long driveway, but there are several that don't. So I think to try to accommodate some of those people, I think is worth doing. But I think still it's Jim's idea with a shed and stuff. And yes, it's unfortunately, Jim made the comment, I'm doing the same. I do have storage areas, and it's $150 to cover some storage area. And it's not all my stuff.
What if we, you know, okay, it's covered in here, I'm sure, I would think, right? The actually widening of the apron, was that addressed in here?
The driveway.
What I'm proposing is more on the private property side of the driveway, so not necessarily widening the apron, which may impact trees, or there's a, within Deerpath, when they reconstructed and we used federal funding, there is a street light almost on either side of a property line, so very limited possibilities in terms of widening the aprons. Really, I'm looking at
But if you're
on
going to
the private
widen the
property.
driveway, you got to.
Well, you can curve it.
You
Yeah.
Curve the drive.
Yeah, I know, but there's not,
No,
not much of a, there's not much of a radius. You know,
There's an
curve.
example on
Yeah,
Evergreen. There's an example on Chesterfield. There's an example on Deerpath.
There's an example on Linden.
Yes, there is.
By McCarthy.
Yes. So, and,
But he- you know,
and in each of those cases, the apron remained constant, but the driveways were widened.
And you know, a couple of them though, you know, you got the tire ruts. That's where I'm coming from.
Understood.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it might be at our pals.
Yeah, that's.
All of
You know
Greg's,
what I'm saying? It's
I do. All of Greg's Landing, when we went through that, we wanted to still provide for parkway trees, some green space, et cetera. We did hold them to 20 feet at the property line, 2-car width.
Yeah.
And then they did a 3-car, they have a 3-car garage, so they just flared it over to allow for the third car. If the board wanted to allow aprons to be widened, we can. It just depends, does it impact trees? Does it impact
Right.
street lights? Is there a fire hydrant in the way?
I think it's the drive. I agree. I think leave the street area alone, but allow them to widen the driveway to their home so they could make and tastefully too.
I mean, if you got, if you got 3 cars there and you're gonna be running right over the sidewalk and the lawn, if somebody wants the adios, they're not gonna move the other 2 cars. That's all I'm thinking.
Understood. We might be able to look at this on a case by case. If they're coming in for a variance on the driveway widening, we can look at the apron and see whether or not it would function properly or not. A lot of the transition that they do within the Greg's Landing example is to transition across the sidewalk, so they're still on a concrete surface as they're going from driveway, sidewalk to apron.
What subdivision?
All of Greg's Landing have, any of the Greg's Landing houses that have 3-car garages will very likely have a 2-car apron in terms of width.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But can they maneuver out of the third spot without? Okay,
But, I mean, they're going to have to crank it.
But there's a little more room.
Yeah.
Those lots are they're wider and they're deeper. The key is the width.
Understood.
You know.
Understood. I agree.
Well, and in addition to that, I think, and maybe what we can do is provide some illustrations of what we're talking about here. The one thing, obviously, I don't think the board is looking for is to allow somebody to park directly in front of their house. I pull into my driveway, make an immediate left turn, and I'm parking parallel with the street or something like that.
We want them to be, it's got to be a perpendicular parking to the roadway.
Right.
One thing that may also be concerning for the next door neighbor is if the driveway variance pushes them closer to the property line, and then you need to extend your apron also, that ends up being across the frontage of the adjacent neighbor, and we may end up getting some pushback on that too.
Could do it as an individual basis.
If we didn't get pushback, I'd be shocked.
Understood. I might have undersold that one.
Okay. All right. Well, so what do we want to do tonight?
Well, I mean, I think what we're hearing is
Tell you what I'm prepared to do.
Wider driveways.
Yeah, I'd like to actually, maybe in the form of a motion to direct staff to begin work on a special district within the Deerpath community for a variance for wider driveways and for larger shed spaces and potential for setback variances for both the sheds and the driveways.
Yeah, okay.
That would be number one. And then the second motion I'd like to make would be to amend the current parking code to eliminate apron parking, parallel parking to the roadway. And see where it takes us.
I mean, everywhere in that one?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll second the first amendment.
I'll second the second one. And, yeah.
Well, you'd have to say you second the first and second the
So-
second.
I'm seconding the first one.
First, I'm doing the second
Why
one.
don't we have a separate vote on this then?
Yes.
2 votes.
Yes.
All right, so the first motion is to,
Direct staff to create the necessary paperwork to further investigate / establish a special district for the Deerpath neighborhood for driveway variances to allow for 3 cars to perpendicular park, and then also to look at shed variances for that same area.
And this is the area south of Sullivan.
Yes, sir.
Right.
On Deerpath.
Yes, sir.
To Route 45.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yeah, you're right, it's probably 40 houses. You know.
Give or take.
48.
Okay, all right, thank you. You want to comment on that one?
Second one.
Okay, All right, so there's a motion, is there a second?
Yeah, Tom said
I second the first.
Tom,
Okay, this one, Tom,
Yeah.
okay, you seconded the first, okay, roll call.
Trustee Schultz.
Aye.
Markwart.
aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Williams. Hebda.
Aye.
And for the record, I'd vote aye on that.
Okay.
Okay, now number 2, Tom Cook.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no on this one because I think we're getting out ahead of ourselves. I'd like to see what we can accomplish with this first motion and some other remedies before we drop that big a hammer. I think we need more time on it, and I think this first approach
Well,
should take care of most of the problems. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves with the second motion.
I have to agree with Tom. Part of me says yes, part of me says no, but the problem is too is when you have a sidewalk, now you've eliminated yourself, and that's why the people are doing it, because they're blocking it. So, fine, you're supposed to tell them, okay, at 10 o'clock you can do it, and at 6 o'clock you have to stop, and I think it's very difficult. I think we
just
do
think
need
we
a
can
little time.
revisit it after we've had these other remedies to get a chance to see what they can
Is
do.
your comment, Trustee Schultz, based on more about throughout town?
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
just
Yeah.
specifically?
No,
You're saying in
it's pervasive
general,
throughout
but
the
you're saying
entire
in general,
town.
you don't
See,
like
with
that
these
it's
guys,
happening.
they probably need every available space.
But if our solution
On
works
Deerpath,
here, we can
absolutely.
look
Right.
at potentially expanding that solution.
I
So
have to agree with you.
I'd like to start with the first step and then,
Well, I think if you eliminate, Chief, you want to speak to this, if you eliminate that apron parking all over town, what's that going to do to the, cars that are going to be out on the street?
Well, I think he's talking about not necessarily eliminating parking on the apron, but eliminating parking, so if your apron is so short that you're going to block the driveway.
No, I'm
There are-
talking about
Means you can't do it
eliminating,
at all.
making apron parking illegal.
Completely. You have to
See,
park.
now
I
you're gonna
think
put it-
I think then you're taking away valuable parking space from people, and you're going to eliminate the places. There's only so many places they can park.
We don't know that because, again, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy if you got 2 cars worth of garbage in your garage. Maybe treasures to you, but that's the whole idea of having a 2-car garage, is to put 2 cars in there. And if you have more than 2 cars, you don't get the apron as your third. You get your driveway.
But I mean, it's
third.
not unusual, they have 4 drivers in the house, especially once your kids are, 16 and older.
Yeah.
And 4 should be accommodated. Doesn't require apron parking for 4.
It's that 5th one, huh?
Yes, sir.
Because you've got people that are parking on the apron, and we've seen it here in Hawthorne Club, and they're parking off the edge into the street now, too.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
a
not
different,
ju-
that's a
it's-
different story.
It's not just
Yeah.
this part of Deerpath. We're talking about other places in town where we've seen it more and more, and that's what,
I was going to
understand-
say, it's not the easiest move to make either.
No, I mean, I think all of these
To
here.
put it, squarely on the apron.
Yeah. I mean, right now, there's a car on Evergreen that doesn't have any license plates on it, that's been there for well over a month. Hadn't
but
moved.
that can be addressed by a different, that's an inoperable motor vehicle.
And we
with no
have.
License plates.
And we
So
have.
that can be addressed in another manner. That's covered by the state of Illinois.
Ernie will be glad to come and get it, right?
I mean, that falls under your inoperable motor vehicle. If you can't drive it on the roadway, it's subject to being ticketed and/or towed.
Again, I'm also looking at the aesthetic for the town, and I don't believe that that's a proper aesthetic. I mean, we don't allow boat parking,
Side of a house.
We filled the room when we took that on,
Yes,
when I
we
was
did.
first on the board.
Yep.
Yeah, hey, you're a trustee, huh? Yeah, get rid of that boat next door to me.
Yep.
When I moved over on Greenvale. Mrs. Will had a yacht. You couldn't see my one neighbor's house. She had it covered in a blue tarp. This thing was one of those tartan, the kind of, it's like 30, it was over 30 feet long with the yoke. She had an extra pad, but they said, "You're on the board, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah, get rid of that boat." I was attacked by my neighbors one night. I said, "Okay." So then we began. Yeah, you're right, we did, you know, with RVs and boats and even commercial vehicles of a certain size and, you know, certainly tractors. I had a guy when I lived on Merrimack, he used to, you know, bring home the tractor, you know, from his semi. That's you know, they look pretty big on the driveway.
Yes, they do.
You know, yeah, okay, well,
We got a motion in a second.
but we got a motion here to ban parking on the aprons.
Yep.
And you have a
Okay,
second.
there's a second?
Yes, second.
Okay. Roll call.
Trustees Markwart,
No.
Cook,
No.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Williams, Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Uh-oh.
I can't vote on this one.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think I can.
Burn.
Well, no, I don't think I can vote on this. Or can I?
No, you can vote because you didn't get the.
Well, it's 3-2. Well, we're actually changing an ordinance.
Well, we're
We
directing them
Directed
to
to look at-
prepare so we're not voting on the ordinance yet.
This is that committee.
Right. I don't know.
Bob Kenny's making his money tonight.
I was vote for money. I gotta vote on stuff. Well, if it's a tie,
No, I thought we changed ours that you could vote on anything, I thought.
yeah.
Well, when we go to board, we should make sure we're all here when we vote on it at board, and then you'd be the tiebreaker.
Well,
Is this,
I guess.
is this isn't something we need a super majority on or anything, is it?
No.
No.
It's just
No,
committee.
simple.
All right, take a look.
While we're looking up this answer, the question would be, is the timing of this vote and an action in some type of ordinance, what would be your preference in terms of bringing it back before? Would you like to bring it back all together with everything? Because we're going to need a little bit of time to put this
Right.
stuff together.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. We've lived with it.
For this long.
right.
50,
Only in the case of a tie.
All right,
Some towns would allow it if there's three votes, but not a full
yeah,
majority.
okay. All right, because I would have been a no. You know. All right, so the motion committee carries. All right.
So we will bring this back. I mean, staff's going to have to take some time to.
Absolutely.
Let me back that up. Staff's going to have to find some time right now to do this work. And so we'll be back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, all right. Okay, with that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Hebda,
Let's see. I don't need that.
That's a tough one.
Schwartz,
Aye.
Markwart,
aye.
Cook,
Aye?
Schultz,
Aye.
Williams.
Motion carries. Is there any one-car garages in town?
The town